And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show, and this is going to be episode 437. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, we are just going to have some guy bro conversations that you guys all know and love and enjoy that we have here on the MSK show. And our featured guest tonight is going to be another black man, actually, because, I'm a white guy secretly. I don't know if you guys know that, but my dad was white and my mom was black, and I'm actually a white guy. I actually think of myself as like, how would I say this though? Bill Gates, but like younger and better looking, actually. Hey,
God damn it.
Hey, wait a minute. Why can't I be tall, white, and good looking? Why can't I imagine? You know what's crazy? All these people that are always saying this gay, retarded shit, usually to me, they're like, you know what? Why can't I envision myself as this character?
I'm sorry, Jay.
It can't work.
Where's Uncle Ruckus when you need him?
That's the best character ever created, to be honest here. But our featured guest tonight is going to be Jheat Blaze. So nice to meet you, man. How are you doing, bro?
Flame on. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm happy to be here.
So now that we know you're Johnny Blaze, which version of him in the comic books was black? I mean, I need to know that, because then I need to know that run probably sold like absolute shit, and that's the reason why the Fantastic Four got canceled at some point.
Well, we'll tell you one thing, Mike. That one movie we refused to talk about nearly tanked Michael B. Jordan's career. Let me just go ahead and say that.
Flame on.
Good Lord, man. So, if you guys don't actually know this, the MSK show and the Cloud9 podcast on Spotify are now split, actually. So if you were used to the Cloud9 podcast episodes coming on the MSK show profile that I had on Spotify, they are now split because, there's people that, obviously wouldn't really want to get like esports and a sports podcast, and one where we talk about, movies, TV show, anime, video games, comic books, all that stuff. So, and people are going to be like, but MSK, it's going to start at zero. Guys, I don't care. For the 15,000 times since I ever started doing this, I do not give a shit about views. At some point I did, and then at some point I went, it doesn't matter. I just do this for the love of the game. You know that new saying, for the love of the game? I've been doing this for the love of the game. I don't care if I make money from this at all. But if you do want to, donate to me on Ko-fi or become a member, that's fine too. I'll take your entire paycheck. But, hey, I just, am doing this for the love of the game. I just have podcasts because I just like talking. I like talking about the things I enjoy. Whether I make money from it doesn't matter at all. I buy lots of comic books and collected editions. Let's just say that. That's all I spend my money on outside of bills and food. So when I get paid, bills, then it's like, okay, when am I going to go to the store and get food? And then after that, it's like, okay, then I buy whatever books I want to buy for like that week that I was, wanting to buy that comic book or collected edition or whatever. So, we'll get into some conversations here in just a moment, some really juicy ones, because people always tell me the dumbest shit. And then I always think to myself, are you not intelligent? Because I feel like half the people that we're talking to on Twitter are the people that I would never speak to ever in my personal life, because you're that stupid. Like, what I would consider a stupid person is someone who's like, hey, why do you think the way you do? Well, I don't know. I just do it. Oh, great conversation there, buddy. Great conversation there, buddy. Even if I disagree with you, I would like to understand why you came to the conclusions that you came to. Kind of cool, right? This is what the average person should do. Think why you think the way you do. Even if you can't derive it from something, do you feel like it's the morally applicable thing to do? Or anything. Just start with something very simple, like, I don't know, why do you like coffee? Think about that, Well, coffee tastes like crack to me. That's why I like it. So, it's one of those things where that's why when people say, oh, you could just do a podcast so easily, it's just, you just turn on a mic. You start. No, you actually can't. It's not how that works. The average do people actually know this? Because I explained this like on an MSK show 2 weeks ago. I was on a Monday. It was like Bob Loves Movies and whatever. And I was trying to explain to people there that the average podcast last like 10 episodes because a person will go, I want to start a podcast. Then they get everything ready, they get a YouTube channel and they get it all set up, and then it lasts 10 episodes. 10 episodes is the minimum average for podcasts. Now, I've been always very grateful because I've been able to have podcasts where they go like 200, 600 episodes because I have people that, want to be on and we have great conversation with each other and everything. So I'm always internally grateful for anyone that comes on as a guest, anyone that periodically appears on the podcast because, some people only get to do their podcast like once a week or twice a week or once a month, honestly, and to string together a coherent thought and talk to someone for like hours, potentially just like a minimum an hour or 2 hours or 2 hours, 30 minutes is not an easy thing. Like there's shows where like I literally just had one just a few days ago. And I forgot who this person was. It was someone that came on, wanted to promote their comic book, and was the absolute most worst guest ever. It wasn't a horrible person. It was like, dude, you're just garbage. I don't want to talk to you. Like, it's awful, man. I was like, get me out. He was like, hey, man, that might have been the shortest podcast I ever was on. It's like, yeah, and be the only one you're on with me. That's what I was thinking in my head. I didn't say it. That was starting World War III. But it's just like, this is not like an easy thing. I don't know where people get that from. And yeah, it is technically a little easy to just get a microphone and turn it on. But like average people probably wouldn't even understand how to even make your audio sound good. Reason why a lot of people's podcasts don't even get people listening because your audio sounds like crap. People don't actually take the time to just be like, hey, what do I sound like? Is this going to be listenable if someone's not watching this live? These are things that you must factor into your brain whenever you think about this stuff. But the average person goes, oh, it's just so easy, man. You just turn it on and you just start going. Yeah, I don't just, oh, good Lord, average people are so fucking dumb. You string together a coherent thought for me for 15 minutes straight. Average person, go for it. You can't. You haven't even thought about how you feel about a movie, let alone life itself. Telling me this is easy. Well, but at least we have Jared. So, Jared will tell me all his thoughts about why
I'm here.
Good Lord, he's doing it again. Oh, God. We were going to read and review a comic book, but then I was like, you know what? We'll just have Jheat on. So Jheat did end up coming around, unlike my dad. So unlike my dad, you are here at this point, actually, So nice to meet you, dude. But so for people that are going to watch this episode on the replay or who's not watching live, just tell the audience who you are.
Well, for me, I'm Jheat Blaze or Jheat75. I do movies, manga, comics, games, really just about everything. And kind of similar to what you've said before, I just like to chill, vibe. I've even networked with Jared a couple times. I'm like a part of his Comics League brand, and I just appreciate the love of the game. Like I just enjoy what I enjoy, and just like talking to like-minded people about it. So, but all in all, man, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. But Jared, you talked to the cloud chaser? I know that guy. He seems to be a huge cloud chaser for some reason. Good Lord. But Jared did bring up something he wanted to talk about in the show, which was a big topic of discussion. And people are always like, "You're mean, MSK." I don't care. You people are stupid. That's why I'm mean this way. Yeah, like what's crazy is there's not enough mean people in the world. Actually, I'm gonna tie this in to a point. There was an 11-year-old kid who just shot and killed his dad because his dad took his Nintendo Switch from him. That's it. That's all he did. And he shot and killed his dad. Yeah, there's not enough mean people in the world. And keep in mind, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's not about being mean. I'm just coming off just the way I would normally come off anyway, And the reason why I'm coming off that way is because I want people to understand what I'm going to bring this up in this conversation, which is what Jared brought up. They wanted to talk about on the show. This shouldn't be a hard thought conversation people are having. Guys, this was a conversation people were having, and I literally counted the number 50 replied threads on Twitter. So there was a viral clip on like this podcast or whatever where like these guys were talking about like, I'm more of a comic book fan than you are because of X and X and X reason, right? So I'll just say this right now. If you are a person who is just a fan of superhero movies, like you just like live action or TV shows or animated versions of the same thing, right? Okay, so those 4 different mediums, right? Live action, movies, TV, animation, television, or movies, right? That would just make you like a superhero fan. But that doesn't make you a comic book fan. Because if you have no knowledge of what the source material is, any run on any writer, any artist, character could have 30 years of history. That would make you a comic book fan. That just makes you a superhero fan. That makes you more like a comic book movie fan. There's a distinction between them, right? Now, if you're someone like myself who, had a hard time kind of getting comic books growing up as a kid, and sometimes I would legit spend hours researching a character's history because I couldn't really get books, right? So I would know about a story. I just didn't have the book in front of me to read it. So I would research like Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, and you'll find out who these characters are, who wrote for them, who created them, all that stuff, right? So like when the MCU would have new movies come out, they'd be like, this character is going to be a thing. So like Thanos, when he was announced in Avengers at the end of the movie, so who the fuck is that? So I researched who the hell Thanos was, and I was like, that's a pretty cool character. Awesome. When he was born, how he thinks about the world, Lady Death thing and everything, So, and when I got a job, I finally started buying books for myself. As you guys can see, I own a lot of them, actually, So, and come on, you don't have to spend money on this stuff. It's crazy how a lot of you guys have the internet and you never use it to your fullest advantage. And don't tell people you're doing this. You could straight up just pirate the books. Just don't tell people you're doing that. The biggest problem you guys have, you younger kids, is you tell people everything. Do not tell people everything you're doing. Stop doing that. It's actually a thing that'll actually get you in trouble. If you don't have access to money, use the internet to your best advantage. Then when you get some money and you do want to spend it disposably, make up for that pirating you did by putting some money into it. It'll make you feel good. There's some stuff I pirate here. I don't tell you guys what I do, but I'll pirate some stuff. But I spend enough money on this shit in my personal life, and as you can see behind me, so I don't feel bad about doing it because I'm actually putting money into it, right? But there's these people who automatically assume because they watched, I don't know, let's talk about Spider-Man, because that's going to be another topic we'll have for the show. They think just because they watched Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy, that makes them a Spider-Man comic book fan. It's like, no, that wouldn't make you a Spider-Man comic fan at all. Actually, where did that even come from?
That would make you an Iron Boy fan.
Jared, why you gotta throw jabs? Why is he throwing jabs at people, Jared? Why you gotta do that?
But Michael, I appreciate Michael and I really appreciate you.
That. He's a cloud chaser.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Also, he likes Yu-Gi-Oh, so he's a fucking nerd.
But yeah, similar to what you've been saying, yeah, a lot of casuals, a lot of mainstream, and that if we are talking about the DCU, I wanted to make a brief tangent about that. Basically, I'm not going to go too much into all the nerd stuff and comparing like casuals. I'm not going to go into too much detail because we'd be here all night. But I will say this: between the MCU is a lightning in the bottle from a casual, because you united comic book fans, super live action media fans.
Yeah.
Everything went between the Infinity Saga phases 1 through 3. Everything went well. Everything was planned out. Everything was executed well.
And I wanted to tackle into your point. That's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad. That's a good thing that
I'm not refuting that impact.
Yeah.
But everything was so organic and came together. You are not going to get that level of momentum and synergy again. The best. Okay, this is a bit of a deep cut, but I'll say it. The best example is let's just say Power Rangers, because big iconography, big iconic franchise.
It's Morbin time.
I'll use that as an example. Everyone thinks Power Rangers boils down to what was essentially Mighty Morphin from 1992 to 1993 to 1995.
Yeah,
but no, that's just where the iconography and the impact was at its best. Some would argue some seasons are even better than Mighty Morphin. But especially when Nickelodeon and Viacom, and then with the 2010s, they keep recycling MMPR because that's the hype of the series at its best, at its most impactful. Mm-hmm. And when you keep running the same idea over and over into the ground, you get diminishing returns, and you're not going to get as much interest. If you can objectively accept that you are not going to hit the same levels of impact and momentum your golden years or your first coming onto the scene did, you could still have a decent product in a dedicated fan base. You're just not going to be at the same numbers you were when you first started out. And I feel like the MCU is in a similar direction.
And this is the problem that comes up with a lot of these discussions is, okay, I'll just use it like this. If I just watch the Harry Potter movies, that would make me a fan of the Harry Potter movies, not the books. there's a distinction you would have to apply between both of them. You know, it's weird when kids have debates now, they're always saying these things of like everything is subjective. No, it's not. Everything is not subjective. It depends on what you're talking about. There's clear definitions for things because that's how we define how you split them apart, obviously. You know, it's not to put you in a camp. It's like to basically dictate, like, okay, what is this person and what is their overall level in this, right? If I just watched Harry Potter movies, that wouldn't make me a Harry Potter book fan. But that should go without saying, right? Because you wouldn't really need to explain it to anyone that's like with an IQ of like less than 50. You know, if you have an IQ of less than 20, you'd have to explain it to someone, right? So if what's crazy is comic book fans for me always seem to be the fan base that advocate for less accuracy. You know, it's great. Anime fans and novel fans of their property getting translated between like novel or manga to movie always want things pretty much pixel perfect accurate. Comic book fans go, comic book fans go, you know what? Well, you can't really have it all that way, dude. It's just not going to happen, bro. It's like, what do you see? That's the problem too. And I want to let people know, if you were to actually engage with reading some of the comic books that for these characters you like, you're gonna find out you're gonna probably like those books more than the movie. I'll be honest with you. It's gonna happen the same way it happens for books. Like, why do you guys think that, you know, novels are always more liked than the movie adaptations? Because there's just a level you can just expand on with storytelling in a novel compared to a movie, obviously. Think of it like a comic book then. There's obviously more you can expand on a comic book compared to a movie. Obviously, those are just one and the same. But, like, we'll use Batman Hush, for example. Batman Hush, there was an animated movie for it that came out 2019, 2018. That movie's horrible. You read the book, it's pretty fucking good.
And, yeah, and add on to your point. Thank you. Add on to your point. I could go. I've actually am a fan of both. I've read source material and I've read live action.
And it gives you a better, deeper appreciation of when you have them. Yeah, yeah.
And I understand why they made the change because, yes, I'm not going to spoil a 20-year-old comic, but I will say in both versions, Riddler played a role. But
it was God, just the puns he's making.
it's just, but it's executed differently. Like I could go because I'm a comic book fan and I have some understanding of the wider industry. I could make, let's just say for hypothetical, that you could have, you know, made this an exclusive adaptation of Under the Red Hood or an equivalent to like Jason Todd. Again, I'm saying this hypothetically, right, but yeah, Riddler as actually having Riddler playing it straight and actually being the twist to the Hush persona ruined that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an objective truth.
And that's not even just like, oh, we can't adapt this because it's not going to translate well to to the animation. It's like, that's one of the guys, that would be the equivalent of if Frieza and Goku were fighting and then Frieza went, you know what? Turns out I was your dad the whole time. I was Bardock. Do you know how stupid that would be? That's the equivalent of what that Hush movie did. That's something that needs to be translated because remember, the person that wrote that Hush movie had an interview after the backlash of the movie and said, well, I changed it because I thought a lot of people already knew what was going to happen if they read the book.
Then don't adapt the book. That's the thing. If you're adapting stuff, we know where it's going. If you're adapting stuff, we want to see in a different medium. And I understand that you have to change some stuff occasionally.
Some stuff, yeah, that's fine.
The biggest example of like when I had like whiplash was when I saw the Civil War movie, the Captain America Civil War movie after reading the comic book, because I'm like, this is nothing like it. However, I'm willing to allow them to make changes on the condition that you still get the spirit of the book. Like with Civil War, the basic gist of that is there's Iron Man and Cap fighting over the government having control over the superheroes. If you put it in like a different spot, yes, some people will find that annoying, some purists will. But for me, it's like you're still getting to the core spirit. This central argument of what Civil War is. As long as you capture the spirit. Hush, I kind of get it. And it's like because I had Ernie on my show and he explained that. And it's like, in a lot of ways, I understand kind of where they're going. Because the other thing about Hush, to do Thomas Elliot properly, because if people forget about Hush with the book, that also builds off of a lot of Batman lore that you didn't have in the animated movie. That's the other problem with adapting stuff. It doesn't always work out like you do with Under the Red Hood. Under the Red Hood it worked out because the same guy that wrote the movie wrote the comic. So obviously,
and it was a direct adaptation. Say what you will.
Yeah, and even he made changes, right? Even he made changes.
Well, he took out the Superboy Prime punching reality, brought Jason Todd back to life. Can you imagine if they tried to force that in the movie? But with Hush, it's like, I get that like they kind of had to like play around, and to a degree in Hush, Riddler is one of the masterminds in the end of that book.
Yeah, so he has a play in the book. So it's not like they were wrong about that. It's just like you just completely undermined what this character was going to do to impact Bruce by just making them one and the same. So I'll bring up another point here too. So the best thing about life is to seek out more knowledge, to hone in your own perspective, and to also make yourself a lot more smarter. So even if someone were an insufferable dirtbag and I hated them and I didn't like them, at least if they were knowledgeable of what they were saying, I would listen to you because you obviously want to be someone where you want to grow as a person. That's how anyone grows as a person. You get more knowledge. How would a person get more knowledge about superheroes?
Reading.
Checks notes. Holy shit. Reading the material that exists. How else would you get it?
It's like I tell the story that when I first got re-interested into comics after the Snyder Cut was announced, I just grabbed a bunch of my graphic novels and it was like, okay, reading. I like this.
Reading.
Moving on. Yeah.
Not black. You like reading. Okay. There you go.
That's the thing about these idiots that say you don't have to be a comic book fan. It's like it's the people that like. By the way, again, you don't have to read comics to read I will never forget that image on Twitter where it was like, do you have to read comics to be a comic book fan? And I go, I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer because that's a whole other level of stupid.
What's crazy?
Yeah.
I would respect if someone read wikis than that because at least that's showing me you're at least willing to try. You're not even, that right there, what you said, that shows me you're not even willing to try. You're going, do I have to read said material to know about said material? Yes. Are you like fucking stupid? Like, people wonder why I'm mean to people. That is illogical thinking. Do I have to read comic books to understand that character? Well, let's put it this way. How would you get better at cooking? If you didn't know how to cook better, would you go and read books, watch videos?
Well, I don't know. MSK. Do you know what this is? It's like a CBR did like a thing that's like, only 10% of the comic book reading audience is on Twitter. So I think it's just all of those tourists that were like coming out of the woodwork saying, see, we can still be comic book fans. Look at us.
Like,
that's exactly what they sound like.
I can't believe that clip went viral. It's like, I forgot what it was like because I was at work, so I'm like literally just scrolling through. Yes, someone reading the material for any of those characters, literally only if you were just a fan of Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man, I do not give a fuck. This would apply to any character. If you took the time to read the material for those characters, yes, you are going to be more knowledgeable than the person who didn't. That shouldn't even be a debate. That should just go without saying. Now, does that make you a better fan than that person? Well, no, makes you a more knowledgeable fan. Doesn't make you a better fan because, you know, at the end of the day, guys, this is superhero shit. You're a fucking nerd if you like this shit and you probably don't shower. So it's like two people who don't shower comparing to each other. It's like, come on. We're not getting girls here talking about this stuff.
Also, hey, speak for yourself. I got a girlfriend.
Same.
Hey, women love me. I'm
my man, Jheat.
Oh my God. Lord.
But anyway, that particular podcast is known for saying a bunch of stupid stuff just for the clicks. Okay, let's be clear about that.
Oh my God. It's like, no, you're not better than someone, but you know, I would feel like someone is a little bit more, I would want to engage with the person that's a little bit more knowledgeable about both of them than the person that's just a movie fan.
I can't even count how many times I went to like a comic book movie with like a group of friends that are normies. They will all congregate around me going, explain what we just heard, what we just saw. I'm like, all right. Like, I'm sorry if comic books is a complicated like hobby to get into.
24 pages. It's hard for someone to read with pictures. Will never not be funny to me. Guys, it takes about maybe 15
Reading
minutes.
is hard.
Yeah, and this is why average people are stupid these days. Outside of comic books, it's because no one wants to actually read stuff. Keep in mind, People would rather doom scroll on their phone for hours on TikTok looking at women who will never speak to you ever or DM you back ever. And you won't spend 5 minutes reading a 24-page floppy, but you'll spend 2 hours scrolling on TikTok liking a girl's post who's probably getting banged by 5 black guys right now as I'm saying this. And you want me to engage with you. What's wrong with you? You're stupid. Your mom's probably paying your iPhone cell phone bill, which is sad. You're probably sitting at home beating off, tweeting on Twitter while you're depressed, going to therapy like some fucking loser, asking like, hey, should I read this to become more knowledgeable? Yes, dumb fuck. Yes, the sky is also blue. Yeah. Come on. I will say this, though. It's probably not popular. Even if you read wiki pages on characters' history, I would respect you more because at least you're engaging with trying to find out what's the difference between like stories. Yeah, something you're at least attempting to try. I don't like people who don't even attempt to try. Because what's the harm? Okay, you try. Brand New Day is coming out, right? Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out. You want to go and you want to go get more knowledge about the storyline. The omnibus is out. Buy it. Literally like $40 on discount. You buy your first omnibus. It's only $40. That's not a lot of money. You can't afford $40. You get a fucking job. But you read it. You go, hey, this medium's not for me. You know what? No skin off your back. It's $40. Keep in mind, you get more knowledgeable about who Spider-Man is at this point of his life, who's writing him, artists and everything. And who knows, you might actually like the books more than the movies. Then you go, wait a minute, why do most of these? Once I read more comic books, I realized just movies are never going to achieve that in my brain. You just throw that out of your brain. If you ever read Court of Owls, throw that out of your brain of that ever appearing in a movie. Just throw that out.
No.
Never
unless it's a multi-part, and even then, it's not going to be a perfect.
Yeah, because Long Halloween proved that they did a multi-part on that one, and that one kind of, oof, good lord.
I mean, it got the general point across.
It did, yeah.
I would say I would argue Long Halloween was one of the best Tomorrowverse movies, and
yeah. I think this is your subscriber. I think.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Cameron?
What's up, Cameron? Simple question. Okay, about not knowing about Superman and Kal-El, and then being, and I think you might have to scroll back a bit in the chat, but I think you mentioned earlier Identity Crisis. Now, that's actually a good example because Identity Crisis on its own is just set up for Infinite Crisis and Batman.
It's not even a crisis. It's called that for marketing. It's a murder story.
When it's really well, DC, why are they always in a crisis? There's Infinite Crisis, Dark Crisis. How many crises can you go through? I'm just wondering. Like, they're always in a crisis. What? It can't always be that bad, right?
Hey, when you got a good hook, you stick to it, man. That's all that is. But Identity Crisis on its own, it's a whodunit. It's essentially a whodunit, and it helps set up for the big event comic, which would later be what we know as Infinite Crisis. It solely sets up that you will never see that get adapted. One, it's not going to do an animation because it goes into a very dark direction that you would not be able to justify with PG-13 rating. So let me just say that right now. Two, even if we factored live action, Identity Crisis is not strong enough of a story to revolve an entire film around, and like the DCU, for example. Maybe a subplot as it leads into like OMAC and Brother Eye, maybe as a subplot leading up to it, but on its own, no, because it's not strong enough to warrant a full movie or a full adaptation.
Right. Also, I want to make sure I point this out to a lot of people. There are certain comic book stories. It's not that they wouldn't translate well. It's just some
definitely wouldn't.
The problem with it is there's a lot of factors and nuance to it too. First of all, we know this is factually true from all the interviews we've read for, I'm going to say 70-30. So 70 in this favor, 30 in the other. These people, a lot of time when they write them, do not even like these characters. They actually think you're a disgusting, filthy, pathetic nerd who doesn't get women, which is what I would describe you as. But I'm doing it in more of a funny aspect. Woman.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Oh, here you go. Taika, who loves big titties.
That turd.
The whole Thor comment he made. These people, and I'm not even trying to say this like as if like I don't know or I'm not know. I can read what someone's true intentions were through some of their words. Some of these people don't even like the material, so they actually think it's childish too. So there's that. Then you also
or they use the characters as like self-insertions of like them working through the. It's like I will never forget. Speaking of Tom King, there was this great Google lecture that we're talking about Batman. Jheat knows what I'm about to mention. When Tom King tried to say that when he writes Batman, he tries to put as much of himself into Batman, but Frank Miller, a better Batman writer, turns to him and goes, "No, you don't put yourself in the character. You write the character as the character is supposed to be." And I'm like, thank you. But that's the other problem is like too many of these writers think that they can just force in the way that they are with the characters. Like, this is how I would act if I were Superman, if I were Batman. And I'm like, no one wants that.
Tom King has his flaws as a creative and writer. No one's refuting
That's an understatement.
No one's refuting that. But if we're going to talk about his Batman run specifically, not just his Batman run, because that's the one he gets most.
Gotta love Gotham Girl, right?
At least if we're talking about, everything with 5G and then how they were going to rip off what Marvel was doing with all new, all different. If you're an actual comic book fan, you would know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Then yeah, 5G was a bad idea from a consumer standpoint. And 2, Tom King made the best out of a bad situation from an editorial standpoint, and even got a pity maxi series for his trouble.
Mm-hmm.
At least in terms of that, he fulfilled his contract and he made the best out of a bad situation. Now, Heroes in Crisis, that was deplorable. That was god awful.
Mm-hmm. And yet he still tries to blame that editorial. But my point being is like there are too many writers that basically are like that basically want to self-insert like how they think the character should be, or like what they. It's like the other example. Remember in Batman Fortress where he's flying over Gotham and it's being looted, and then like he sees a store being looted. He could intervene, but goes, "No, they have insurance." Thank God it was Elseworlds, but still, I'm like, that's a crime.
These people are insane. Like what's crazy is the people that are kind of like running DC and Marvel are like just so hit or miss. Like I know from like the casual fan perspective, when it comes to actually comic books, when you get into them, you wouldn't like to think most of these people probably have a super huge disdain for you, and then it's kind of weirdly nihilistic and narcissistic to think. But I would always go like this: it's generally a case by case basis. Would I say more of them probably think that? I would probably say that. I probably go like 80-20. Honestly, there's probably a small amount that actually do genuinely like what the people that they make this stuff for.
I would argue 75-25, but good point.
Yeah, because come on, guys, they don't make. What's crazy is they don't make a lot of money doing this, artist and writer, and they're all. I'll even point this out. This just happened. We'll probably make a video about this at some point on here. So, for those of you guys who are reading comic books, the Absolute Universe is doing very well, and it was revealed in a DM group that very famous people in the more modern comic book world sense, were talking massive shit about Scott Snyder. And keep in mind, comic book industry has always had people talking massive shit about each other. And keep in mind, guys,
bad mouth all the time.
Oh, right.
Jealousy. My favorite is when they were saying is that they were talking shit about Scott Snyder and then asking, "Hey, can I do an Absolute book?" I'm like, no.
This is how you know. Come on, one of those creators in there.
That's like if I sent Jheat a DM. Jheat, you suck. Now can I come on your channel?
Jheat, you are really black. Now can I get $200?
My point was less racially insensitive, but that's just me.
One of those dumb, fat, overweight, blue-haired feminist bitches were in that group too. To all you Kelly Thompson, who just blocked me randomly. I don't know. I praised her absolute Wonder Woman stuff anyway. Yeah, fuck you fat bitch. So, like, one of these things is she's in that group too, which goes to show you how petty and disgusting women are. She is a part of Absolute Universe, and her book is selling very well. Why would just think about that for a second? Scott Snyder gets her on
and the Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Then she's in a DM group talking mad shit about him with other people while she is simultaneously getting the benefits of being part of the universe. And people wonder why no one takes women seriously. How stupid is that? I would never trust that person. It's crazy because Scott Snyder's kind of weirdly cucked by the way he talks on Twitter. You ever did that, man or woman, you are away from me. You can just get the fuck off my book. If I was in charge of this, you get the fuck away from me. No way am I going to give you something and then you are just talking shit about me. Then in that same group, they're begging him for a book. It's like,
you know
how cucked?
Ultimately,
you guys gotta understand, how cucked is the average man? Hey, I really fucking hate you. Hey, can I get a book too? How cucked? You people are cooked. You can't save. You can't be saved.
I will say this. Value of self-worth in the comic industry aside, because that's a whole separate can of worms. So
we know that's to the floor.
That aside, at the end of the day, especially these younger writers, they treat it like a stepping stone or as a piece of activism. Look, I try not to think this way. I try to see the best of any medium and the best with my audience and who I engage with. I try to be optimistic. But if I'm being objectively honest, especially within the past 5 to 7 years, this has just been vanity project after vanity project. I'll even tell you all new, all different, for example. At least the higher ups were chasing the trend. It crashed and burned, but at least there was an optic reason for it from a commercial standpoint. Half the time, these stories are just bad. And I'm sorry, I call me a DC fanboy, call me whatever you want. But the very fact that you had a Captain America story, Secret Empire, and he literally says the words Hail Hydra. Anybody would walk away from that. I
love the memes that like pass through that, where it's like all these other characters, like Spider-Man saying F responsibility, Deadpool saying I hate chimichangas, or Batman saying I killed my parents.
I do like the one panel, I forgot which comic book it was in, where Wonder Woman has them under the lasso of truth and they're giving like their personal shit and Batman's just like, I'm Batman. All right. Okay. Yeah. At least he's always telling the truth, whether it's good or bad. Who knows, actually? But I hate two-faced people like that. That is so how bad does that look on Scott Snyder and DC, where DC hires Scott Snyder to get people to run the Absolute Universe, and then one of the people that is on a flagship title that is like what Absolute Wonder Woman's top 5 currently right now. We're doing this episode of the show.
Arguably the best book in the whole line, if I'm being honest.
Best selling. She is in a DM group talking shit about someone that is currently running. And keep in mind, guys, I love shitting on women, but it's like, you know how bad that looks. You know how bad that looks. But people are so damn cuck these days. They can't just go, you know what? My standard is, to work around me and get the benefits of having a job next to me. You probably shouldn't be talking shit behind my back.
Or the very least, don't leave a trail where someone could find out.
Very easy. They couldn't just like change their name in these groups so we don't know who they are. I heard Jerry Duggan was in there, but like what has Jerry Duggan ever done anyway?
He stopped working with the big 2 years ago.
I mean, he's doing some Marvel stuff, but the last time he touched anything Batman related, he ruined Mr. Freeze.
Oh, he did do the one bad day, Mr. Freeze.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I forgot he did that.
I'm trying to find it right now. I know there was. I know Kelly Thompson was there, but like, I'm not trying to be mean here, guys. I saw her profile picture. I once you see someone that looks like that, the red flags are always going off. If I see septum ring or blue hair, red flags, just bar none. I'm already thinking like, woof, that one's a doozy. Probably got pronouns in her bio too. Oh shit. They're dealing with some crap there. But the other thing is just the amount of jealousy that exists. Like, people, what's crazy is I would imagine if you probably have political views similar to Scott Snyder, you'd probably get an Absolute book. Just being not a deplorable piece of garbage, right? But no, they just can't because they're just they're afraid of like whisper networks and all that stuff.
Like, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like what is comic industry is fucking wet. But you understand, they have to have that. This is their whole life. Making what? $35K a year max?
Well, the other
pushing
thing,
40.
It depends. And the other thing is like, so they're all jealous because it's like they see like Scott Snyder getting all the stuff. But the thing is, like, a lot of these writers are like, it's like they want the success, but they don't want what goes along with it. And it's like they'll bash it, but it's like, hey, this is how capitalism works. It's like all those people that are like pissed off about the milestone thing, like MSK and Jheat. There are people that think that DC owns Milestone. They don't.
That was a direct collaboration and licensing with McDuffie. Now, and I'm going to give a quick history lesson. I'll be quick. Black History Month, everybody.
When the black man is talking, we listen.
Thank you so much, MSK. But basically, to make it a long story short, Dwayne McDuffie and co. got Milestone, which is basically black superheroes, black comics, Static, Rocket, Icon, etc. Now, leading up to around the DCAU got its momentum, like roughly around the time Justice League came out, maybe 2000, 2001. They consolidated with DC, but that was strictly a licensing and distribution deal because both Milestone and DC were under the same distribution at the time. So that was more of a licensing. Since McDuffie passed away, or at least leading up to it, there was a huge falling out. Therefore, Milestone couldn't be associated with anything DC outside of Elseworld, and that led to like characters like Static Shock, Rocket, Icon getting shelved for the latter half of a decade. Because of all the behind the scenes drama that was going on. And that led to Naomi being highlighted as kind of like they tried to spin her as a tribute character, but we knew.
The other thing, MSK, so it's like people are saying, hey, there is a black-led comic book that's in DC. It's called Absolute Green Lantern. So of course this person tries to move the goalpost and saying, all right, main universe. But it's like as soon as I see a person, it's one of those. You can easily tell who's like the activists on Twitter that really just don't want either they don't want any straight white characters, or they are overestimating how popular these characters are because they are because here's the problem. What people have to understand is like. Milestone characters are great. I'm not saying they're not great characters. They really are great characters. They'll never be if Milestone keeps like starting, stopping. They will never be as big as the Justice League, as the actual DC superheroes. That'll never happen. Not on their own. And if people say, well, Milestone should leave DC. Okay, well, first off, they're not a part of DC. But second off, their characters have been so associated with DC. It's like, what are you going to do?
They can't stand on their own.
Yeah, they really can't.
And it sucks, but that's an objective truth. Now, McDuffie and co., they did do the licensing and distribution to better highlight and promote Milestone. But from an IP standpoint, they cannot stand on their own because their heaviest hitters, Static Shock and Rocket, or corely associated with DC, Young Justice especially, that, again, from an IP standpoint, they can't stand on their own. Now, I'll never say they'll fully consolidate or buy out Milestone to integrate them into DC proper. They're probably going to still be considered licensing tier. We're never going to see a Wildstorm or Vertigo situation because that was a whole separate process with Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but DC will always have that advantage that Milestone cannot stand on their own. Now, if the McDuffie estate decides to settle and consolidate Milestone to DC, that would be a completely separate agreement.
Mm-hmm.
And DC would get a lot more leverage from that. But at least they still have an advantage being the bigger IP because Milestone can't stand on their own.
I was going to bring this up because Jared had talked about this when it comes to the ongoing series. So there was this Comics Pro event that ended up happening where they announced a bunch of stuff and everything. And, we'll cover that stuff at some point on the show and videos and other stuff. But the main thing that was the takeaway from all that stuff was that DC doesn't have a black-led character as an ongoing series. This is how you can tell you're interacting with tourists. Guys, in the Absolute Universe, there's a black female Green Lantern. Just pointing out, because the argument is there's very little black-led ongoing series. The statement is there is zero. So when you're saying zero, you are specifically putting an exact number on these things as if you know what you're talking about.
Which can easily be debunked.
Yeah, because when someone clarifies what they're saying, it's like, are you saying there's all or none? Or are you saying some or very little? There's variations to that. there's Twitter accounts. I could probably tell they're ran by Indians, but that's a different story for another day. People are like, there's no black-led characters getting ongoing series at DC Comics. Guys, Absolute Green Lantern is. Actually, I can do you one better. People can talk about Static Shock. Static Shock, currently right now, this miniseries is going to come to an end, I think, next week. They paired Batman Beyond and Static Shock in a miniseries, right? That's two. That I didn't even have. Do you know how you would know that? Actually knowing what comic books come out. Because that's how you can tell you're interacting with a tourist who was just tweeting for social media brownie points. It's like these black people on Twitter that go, why don't we get these black characters? Well, you didn't support the Mr. Terrific Year 1 series that came out, just checks notes, last year. It was announced as a 4-issue miniseries. Well, if it had got better sales, it would have just got more. That's why Absolute Martian Manhunter, 6-issue miniseries, sales were good. Now I got up to 12, and they're going to leave the book after that. But I just don't get that. Like, you're so addicted to social media retweets and likes, maybe from other comic pros, writers, and artists you like, because you feel like you're sticking it to the man. Meanwhile, you wouldn't know jack shit because you don't even know. That wouldn't even require you reading. That would require you just doing basic level of research.
But too many people think that their Twitter ecosystem, that their Twitter echo chamber represents real life. I encounter this a lot of times in the Wonder Woman fan base or even beyond. Like,
why are you interacting with Wonder Woman fans? So people are mentally ill, Jared.
Well, no, but anyway, it's like I interact with. The point is, I interact with this a lot, and they think that because they get a lot of likes on their tweets or something like that, that represents reality, and it just doesn't.
And I'll even name an example. DC, I try not to even bring up 5G that often, but they even tried to do African American Batman with Jace Fox like 2-3 years ago. And hardly anybody read it from a sales standpoint.
Yeah. Oh, and that new Dakota incident thing that they were pushing so hard. So someone asked on Twitter, why weren't you guys interested in this whole Dakota incident? Well, guys, reason why I wasn't interested, because I don't know what the fuck that was, though. And what I mean by I don't know what it was, I heard of it. It's just like the name of that is so confusing, though. Dakota what? The only Dakota I know is the states that exist. Like, if you want people to kind of understand what you're doing, probably have it titled something where it's kind of consumable, right? If I tell you, would you go and buy this book called The Dakota Incident? Would you buy that as a book? No, you wouldn't, because that sounds stupid, right? I think the naming is kind of dumb, but the person who was asking on Twitter, he was like, well, this book needs to sell like 100K copies.
It's nostalgia bait because the Dakota reference. Now, granted, if you actually came up at the time or you're a comic book fan, you would know this. But this is actually a reference to the original Milestone line.
Yeah, it probably is. And I'm not saying I didn't,
I understand. It's just a reference to that. But at least if you go purely by demographics, hardly anyone in the main demographic nowadays would even know the reference, let alone the Dakota incident to begin with.
Yeah, you could call your initiative line the Dakota incident, but I think if you're trying to market it to people, why not just market it to people like, I don't know, fucking hell, Absolute Static Shock? That would probably get some sales right there, because what DC could do is capitalize on their Absolute line, because it appears that anything with just the Absolute name on it, it's going to sell at least somewhat moderately well. Make an Absolute Static Shock book. I can almost guarantee you right now, in this time frame, this day and time, it will sell very well.
75,000 copies, easy.
Yeah. Why are we not capitalizing on our, flash in the pan right now?
Because if you use because here's the thing, that's a very smart idea. If you use the Absolute universe to at least because a lot of people are coming into comics just because the Absolute universe. So if you introduce them to it, using Absolute and say, here's the Absolute Static icon hardware, whatever. Pick your Milestone character. Guess what that does? You're introducing it to a bunch of people that would just pick it up because it has the words Absolute before it.
And hold on, I'm reading this from Wheezy 11. Captain Durag. Okay, that can't be real. That has to be
That is, yeah. There's a kid's animated show on Disney Plus, and there's an actual character called Captain Durag. I'm not kidding.
Really?
I thought it was a joke. It's not a joke, apparently. I thought it was a fucking joke, because that would be a joke, right? When you hear these kind of things.
Of all the tone deaf stereotype,
how do people not call this out as racist?
Because the person who created it was a black woman. Keep in mind, we can't call black people racist because that's the culture Disney made. You can't call out people, so because it hurt their little feelings. Fucking I hate people. Yeah, this is Captain Durag.
Of all the pandering.
Oh God! Oh man!
No, I never wore a durag in my entire life, but if a black person wearing a durag,
who thought this was a good idea?
Well, it came out on Disney, Jared. So
this is something only Uncle Ruckus would do. Honest to God.
Hello, fellow kids. That's what this is.
No. You can't even use that bit, Jay. That's not hello, fellow kid. This is blatant racism.
Well, yeah, that is 100%.
That's what's crazy is, guys. The lady who created that, I heard what her reasoning was. If that's the alleged reasoning, I don't disagree with the reasoning, but that's what they think of you. I'm just pointing out. But the thing that you guys were mentioning, it's like, okay, I'll explain this to people, and it's a very simple premise. If someone wants, this is a saying I had growing up, and I'm pretty sure all of us had the same saying as well. It's one of the many sayings.
Similar.
If someone wants to do something, they will do it. You're not going to have to ask them, force them, tell them. They're just going to do it, right? So, I don't know. When the Barbie movie came out, and it made, it's Warner Brothers' highest grossing movie ever, which is just crazy to think about. Anyway.
Wait, wasn't that Oppenheimer?
Was no, that's Universal.
Okay. Please continue.
So no, you're good. Because Barbie made a lot of money, and we knew it was because women love Barbie, which is fine.
Yeah.
I didn't have to convince women to go and do it. They just went and did it. So when you're doing these things on Twitter, like the person who was begging people to buy status, why can't we just live in a world where if someone just willingly wants to support it, they will? I get the aspect of marketing. That's fine. You get it. You tell people, you spread the word. That is fine. But if someone just willingly wants to support something, they will. DC is doing the correct thing business-wise. If they know their fans aren't going to support black character-led ongoing series, especially anything past like 4 issues, there's no point. And honest, guys, this is another saying: money talks, bullshit walks. That used to be a thing that people used to say. If people don't put up anything, the only book they buy is the Absolute Green Lantern one, which is with the black female character. That's it.
Even then, you can argue that's out of obligation because Far Sector did not sell well.
Well,
yeah, the original Far Sector didn't sell well at all.
The other thing is that you notice most of these people are of the certain political spectrum that believes that capitalism is a crime. So, can you really do we really not understand why these people don't understand that DC is a business and has to act like a business first? So, if not enough people pick up those series, yes, I mean, when I had Sam Liu on the show and he directed a bunch of DC stuff, and Jheat, you were there for this, I think.
Yep, I was there for this.
Yeah, it's like one of the things he said is like we get people all the time that say, hey, let's get, we would love a Zatanna animated movie, and then Sam goes, yeah, we make it. No one comes to see it.
Not to mention, a lot of these fan favorites are either supporting roles or outright ensemble characters and cannot carry an IP on their own. That's just an objective truth. Now, let's use Zatanna, for example. She would do decent numbers, but she would not sell like 100,000 copies.
However, her solo books have been doing very well, though.
She got a 6-issue miniseries. To be fair, she got a 6-issue miniseries in the DC All In. It didn't like fall out of the top. If you go by ICB2, it didn't really fall out of the top 50.
It was in the top 100 range.
But it kept falling. Like issue 6 was at like what, number 49 by the time issue 6 came out. And that's the thing too, is like even when the company or Marvel DC would do something, they would beg for it. If you don't support it. I know people don't like Grace Randolph, but I love my boo. I love my boo Grace Randolph, even though she's fucking stupid. She is correct when she said that. Because women, broken cocks are right once a day, or twice a day. One of those things. She literally said, even if DC gave you what you want, no one would go and support it. And she was using this as a reference for movies. She used it like a DC anything would get announced on Twitter, movie wise, and the fans would go, "Oh, I love it." Then they don't support. And then they got mad at her
Like
for
Blue
pointing it out.
Beetle.
It's like, but that's truthful though. The
Mhm.
reason why you get mad at it is because you know it's true. That's why you get angry at it, because you know she's telling. And I don't agree with Grace Smiley on anything. She's a fucking lunatic, but she's right about that. James Gunn could announce, I'm doing a movie based off Kite Man. You go, oh yeah, James Gunn. I want to just all on your dick. I want to just deep throat it. You know, movie comes out. Movie makes $0. Oh, but I thought you loved it. I thought Twitter was real life. I thought you
Kite
loved
Man
the idea.
could barely carry a TV show.
Hell no.
You know, and that's the problem too that both companies have. Both Marvel and DC. Not every character can hold its own thing. X-Men learns that out the hard way every single year when there's another X-Men initiative. Outside of Wolverine and
Cyclops,
yeah.
Especially if you factor in momentum from '97.
Shit, outside of like 3 X-Men characters.
And Storm.
There's Storm, yeah. My boo, you know, I'm not really into black girls like that, but you know, she's got some chocolate for people, you know. Yeah. They don't. Oh, Deadpool. Oh, to be fair, I will say Deadpool. He kind of gets.
Yeah, you can count him as a fourth. You can count.
Yeah, like literally less than like 10 X-Men characters, less than 5 can get their own ongoing series, right? Like even characters from the MCU guys don't really hold their own ongoing series very well. Like, when was the last time you guys saw a Black Widow ongoing series? When was the last time you like Doctor Strange? After Jed McKay's run, hasn't had a series in a while. They even had to kill Doctor Strange off to get some publicity for the character, just to give Jed McKay a good time on the character. He hasn't had a run since, you know? Like a lot of characters, Hawkeye hasn't had a run in a while, you know? But you have to support the titles you're talking about. And keep in mind, people are going to say, but I have to pirate the book to know if it's good. If you pirate it, you for sure aren't going to buy it. I don't trust any of you. But I never trusted that stat of like, well, if you pirate it, it'll make you more possible to buy it. First of all, there's no way of proving that. There's actually no way of proving that at all. How would you prove that? You hacking people's computers?
If it's like because someone I know had told me, well, because comics are expensive and stuff, and I go, yeah, that's a problem for the company. But look, if you're gonna if you don't support the books monetarily, DC's not gonna keep giving it to you. That's what these people have to realize.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's actually go into that, because I'll use DC Rebirth as an example. Now, if you want to make the argument like, oh, it was nostalgia bait, New 52 was a mistake, we could argue that till we're all blue in the face. But at the end of the day, Rebirth allowed DC to get the edge over Marvel for 2 main factors. One, Marvel was just a circus. It was just a bloody
all different shit show. That's what Marvel was.
I was saying Civil War 2, Iron Man versus.
That's
Captain
all you
Marvel.
gotta know.
No,
remember in Civil War 2 when the entire Marvel universe has a vision that the Hulk is gonna Hulk out and kill everyone. So what do they do? Go up at his door, everyone aggressively, like they're gonna punch him in the face. And I go, are you guys stupid?
Civil War 2 is that meme of like every great movie has a shitty sequel.
Yeah, exactly.
But back to my main point.
Yeah.
DC Rebirth, yeah, you know, New 52, Rebirth, nostalgia and all that. But the books were averaging $2 to $3 per issue. Marvel was still pushing like $5 for comics at this time, and the inflation's probably gotten up even more with the current initiative. That's the thing. Now, I know they can't get away with $2 to $3 titles nowadays, especially since Diamond shut down, but that was one of Rebirth's biggest advantage, and DC has kept up that momentum at least from a sales standpoint since. The only reason they hadn't surpassed Marvel prior to the Absolute line is because Marvel kept flooding the market.
I'll give an example of something else to cover in this conversation. So
sure, go ahead.
I know Al Ewing is getting flamed right now for his Venom and Hulk stuff and everything, and he's been the primary guy on like Venom and Thor for the last like 5-6 years. Actually, it feels like if you dare criticize someone who wrote maybe like a 7 out of 10 comic book run, then only on Twitter will people make you feel like you're that white lady who got caught fucking her brother in Game of Thrones.
Oh, you mean like, I encountered this with the Tom King fans. It's like, oh, you just don't understand it. It's so deep above your head. I'm like, yeah, it's deep. It's deep in Tom King's own ass. That's what it is.
Or they'll say these things like, it's critically acclaimed. By who?
I'm like, the critics, you mean the ones that have to give a series a 7 out of 10 in order to keep getting review copies? Yeah, that's a good statistic.
They're like, it got critically acclaimed.
No, it
even
didn't.
though you've never met anyone in your life that has critically acclaimed that thing ever.
Oh,
it's like,
MSK,
who?
You know what's funny? So his run has been his Wonder Woman run has been nominated for Eisner's twice, but it kept losing. So now I call it the multi-Eisner Award losing series. That's my own thing. I like calling it that. But yeah, it's like critics that doesn't really mean anything, because those critics are just saying whatever they have to do to maintain their access.
Also,
it's the access media. It's like the YouTubers that give Star Wars stuff 10 out of 10, even though it's crap.
If you have they them pronouns in your bio, you know I ain't taking your opinion seriously. You saying something critically acclaimed is me as good as like taking a dump like last night. Yeah, I probably critically acclaimed dumped that too, you know? Woo! Bangers here I'm dropping tonight, you know?
Don't you mean an Amber Turd?
Ah!
I gave him that one.
What?
Oh gosh. But like, what is this? Because what is this too? Like when it comes to comic books, apparently if it won like an award or whatever, that must mean it's like a holy grail. It must never be criticized. And it's like, what?
Okay. There have been bad books that have won awards. So I'm
Private Justice got an Eisner, and that's because it was edgy as hell.
I will say this, I love Dan Moore's art. I really do. I feel like
great artist.
Probably potentially, you could even argue top 10 comic book artists ever if you really look at it like that. But he is not above criticism. I know he got criticized by one person. Oh my God, one person out of like the thousands of fans he has criticized him, saying this didn't look as good as what you normally am accustomed to. It's like Dan Moore gives me steak and mashed potatoes with gravy, nice vanilla milkshake.
Consistently.
Yeah, that's consistently. That's not just one time. That is all the time he's dropping bangers like that. One day he's giving me some macaroni and cheese and it's not that good. And I go, you know what? Hey, man.
He's having a bad day.
Yeah, and this isn't what I'm usually accustomed to. People just get their pitchforks. Guys, no one is above criticism. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, hey, I might not have agreed with that guy's criticism, but this notion that we must protect people from criticism is like, how can they ever improve though? Like, comic book people can't improve because a lot of you guys just suck them off, like your porn stars. Like you have their dicks somewhere to your esophagus or something. Like, how can anything improve if you don't knowingly somewhat go, okay, I didn't like that, let me voice my opinion? And you should voice your opinion on it because you paid your hard-earned money for it. It's not that hard of a concept, right?
You have a right to critique.
Good Lord. And the awards are definitely rigged. I don't really take award shows seriously like that anymore. So like when people on Twitter are always like, well, this movie won, I don't care. I don't need my favorite movies ever to win awards to feel like I'm more validated for liking it. Like if you like a comic book series and it happened to win an award, that's great. Well, it won an award and yours didn't. If you need validation like that for your own reasoning for liking something, I don't need an award to prove what I like is what I like.
And award shows have been declining in ratings for years. I'm not saying this just for comics, but just in general.
Yeah.
Hardly anybody cares anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real for a second. I hate to. I mean, the Oscars, the Grammy, everybody's fallen off and gotten sick of it, and now it's even gotten to a point. And I'm briefly going to mention this with the whole Paramount and versus Netflix thing. People are, at least from what I've heard online, people are actually losing their minds over the Warner Brothers acquisition, the Warner Brothers sale. First of all, if I did have a say in this, I would actually want to keep movie theaters. I would tolerate Paramount not only because it would keep movie theaters relevant longer, but the fact that at least in terms of the money being put in the stock for the commission for the acquisition, it's the better deal. Mm-hmm. Like from a business and economic standpoint, it is big common sense, and you still have a board to answer to. So I'm surprised this even got this far with the FCC. Netflix's deal should have been shut down almost immediately.
Well, I think Netflix Netflix, they were offering, I think, like all cash in their bid, none of that equity stock stuff. But Netflix doesn't even want the TV networks. They just want HBO Max and they want what's called Warner Media or something like that. Paramount kind of wants the whole thing. I think they both have their pros and cons. I don't know who's gonna get them now because they opened up the negotiations for Paramount again. But it's like I agree with Netflix. Guys, I don't watch CNN for free right now. Why would I spend millions of dollars acquiring that nonsense? Come on, guys. I don't watch it right now when it's for free.
No,
why would someone willingly buy that?
I agree. Hey, I understand stocks and marketing and investment, but
thank you, Cameron.
Oh, thank you, Cameron.
Good night, man.
See ya.
Enjoy your weekend, bro.
Peace.
Peace out, bro.
Where was I? Oh yeah. Yeah. I was in terms of logistically from a business and economic standpoint. But I feel like what Zaslav is prioritizing, he doesn't want to just now. Yes, he did get finessed by Emmerich with Warner Media and AT&T. No one's refuting that. But I feel like he's trying to redistribute assets rather than just cut his losses and just sell Warner Brothers off again, like what Emmerich did to him. He wants to separate Discovery and then split up the assets, which is fine, especially if Netflix is willing to offer your original proposal with direct cash and no equity in the stock market. But if you're looking at long term, especially depending on how successful the DCU is, you might have to swallow your pride and go with something like Paramount, because at least with the acquisition, you at least get a majority of the money back you lost from Emmerich in the buyout, especially if they're making multiple offers trying to top Netflix.
Oh, another thing. When it comes to like the this day and age we live in where criticism is apparently just remember that saying people used to have back in the day, but which is not even back in the day, it's like 5 years ago. Remember the whole thing of like words are violence, all that, or stupid
God.
Shit? Yeah, remember that?
Or now silence is violence.
Like yeah, or silence is like complicit. Yes, you guys remember, right? So this is the reason why a lot of these comic book writers and artists go on Blue Sky. You know, that's fucking filled with losers. It's because everyone around them sucks them off. So when someone doesn't give them like a 10 out of 10, they think that's the end of the world. Like, what kind of industry are we building where unless I give you just a straight up perfect review on every one of your comic books, then that must mean that I'm worse than Hitler? Where's it
an adult daycare?
What is the level that you people operate under? I don't know. I don't want to know. I would actually go insane while thinking about logically stupid shit that most of you guys think about. I'd rather not. Where someone goes, you know what? I like all of your run, but this one issue, I didn't like you did it. Well, you just can't be my fan. Go to hell. What the fuck? And you guys wonder why most of you guys are single that write comic books. Keep in mind, you write comic books about superheroes who wear tights. You're not a cool person. Just pointing out here, you go to bars, you probably don't get talked to because you're a loser and you probably don't even shower, actually. You know? It's so weird because they do realize you could make more money working at Starbucks than drawing Spider-Man. Now, to be fair, that is actually crazy to think about. But it's just what it is, right? Because this is their whole life. They have to be this petty and catty because for some reason, yeah, I don't get it. And too much, it is an environment that is created by Marvel and DC themselves. They actually create this environment by hiring these people. Like, remember that one random Looney Tune was writing on Hot Girl and it sold like 6 issues in Dawn of DC?
Wait, hold on.
It was like Genzel Axelrod or something like that. Oh my god.
Oh god, Galaxy.
Oh.
Yeah. Galaxy.
The dumbest character. Or even Batman. Jazia had Batman go, "You belong," and I go, "No, she doesn't."
Oh
god! I almost forgot about that comment. Like, didn't she pretty much hijack? Didn't they pretty much hijack the Hawk Girl series?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh,
it was a whole thing. And then don't get me started on Axelrod's Detective Comics run. Like that whole run was dragged out. That run, they turned that into a bloody soap opera. That
Jay, do you buy comics like the single issues coming out every week as like a pull list or anything like that? Or
I got a pull list.
Okay, do you buy any collected editions or omnibuses in addition to that? Or are you just only getting single issues?
When I see if a run I really liked from beginning to end, I go back and get the omnibus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like for example, I got a Grant Morrison omnibus. That was a pretty penny to get that entire thing.
Those are cheap though. Yeah, the Batman ones, right?
At the time when I first got it, but they're probably cheap.
At my store they were relatively like really cheap, like $75 per. So it was like, and what I would do, I would split it up. So one day I would go and get part 1, one day I would go and get part 2, one day I would go and get part 3. And like I had all 3 of them, so I was like, all
right. This week coming up, let's see what's coming out, because guys. Yeah, it's great. This is how you can know what's coming out weekly. If you're new to comic books, go on leagueofcomicsgeeks.com. You can see what comes out, trade paperback, hardcover, any book that you want, that you like that is getting a reprint that week, regular issues, annuals. Usually I have to check the boxes off for the trades and the omnibuses. But Jared is probably going to cream his pants because Absolute Wonder Woman is coming out this week, issue 17. Did you read the annual that came out?
I did. It was spectacular.
Some people said it's like the best issue in the entire run.
Oh, it is. It so is. Oh, I agree with that. It definitely is the best.
Okay. Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter, I still have no idea what the hell is happening in that book.
These covers are weird, but I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Comics issue 1106, Ultimates 21, Justice Unlimited.
Tie-ins.
Are you guys getting all most of the tie-ins though? I've been.
I mostly get the main book. I'm just getting the main book.
Okay, I've gotten some of the tie-ins, like Knife Fight. I got the main. Yeah, I got the main KO book.
The only one I got was the Wonder Woman one for obvious reasons. But besides that,
no bias there at all.
Or Superman. The only time I ever get the tie-ins is if it's already part of a series I'm already buying, like Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Superman.
Yeah, because tie-ins can easily throw the momentum of a run off.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm. Because the writers treat it like a filler issue.
I just read and reviewed the Iron Man #1 by Joshua Williamson with Dingus Den. It was I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. So I'm definitely grabbing issue 2, Punisher issue 1. Oh, remember that Jason Aaron run they did? Oh my god.
The shit run. Oh, they did a great moment on that. So Percy recently concluded his mini-series reintroducing Frank. You know what he does in that? Do you mind if I spoil it?
Oh, go.
Remember in any of those action movies where like the hero confronts a villain, they throw down their guns and have a fist fight?
Yeah.
Kingpin tries that, but Frank just blows him away with guns. He puts out it literally is. Kingpin throws down his weapons, puts up his fist, and then Frank just shoots him. He's like, nah, I'm not dealing with that.
I want to also point out that Jason Aaron run was canceled. They didn't even let it get 10 issues. The sales were apparently so bad that after the 4th issue dropped, the trade paperback came out the week after. That's how you know they wanted people to forget about that garbage.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was bad. Like it was atrocious.
The trade came out the week after the last issue. I was like, damn, that fucking sucks. Holy crap. If a trade comes out the same week after a run, you know that run.
Then you know your run bombed.
It's like that Wizard of Oz scene. Hey, nothing to see here. It's okay.
Woman just got crushed under a house. Move along.
What was that Harley Quinn fart comic?
Oh god, that April Fool's anthology.
That was so disgusting. I couldn't even stomach talking about it. That sounds just gross.
Now, if you want to do an April Fool's anthology, that's one thing. You know, a holiday title.
Yeah.
But oh god, it just.
What's crazy, guys? Harley Quinn sells. You don't got to tell nobody to buy this book. They just do. It's on 59 issues, so there is a fan base that just buys this.
And half of it is just zany nonsense. Like, literally, that is most of her books.
Gunslinger Spawn, Hyde Street, Conan. I have this in hardcover. I know I'm just gonna wait till it comes out in the other hardcover to buy this. Oh, what else is here? Hulk smash everything. Yeah, good job for a title, Marvel. Hulk just smash everything. Great. Just
classy.
Good job. Mr. Terrific Year 1. You know, guys, hey, go and support this. If the sales for this are 100,000, we'll get another Mr. Terrific book. You know why I know that won't happen? Because you didn't buy this in general. You fucking fake pieces of garbage. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Batman and Robin. That's volume 2 actually, but that recently wrapped up.
Because Philip Kennedy Johnson, he's going to Marvel exclusively for what, 2-3 years actually. Yeah.
2 years,
so apparently that has to be the only way that you make money doing this stuff is if they
exclusive.
Sign you exclusively. So
Jeremy Adams, when you actually have a salary and like regular work.
So that's why people.
Most people freelance.
Imagine sucking off a company so hard that they don't even bother giving you exclusive contracts. But someone like Jeremy Adams who comes in, writes a good run, just gets it because he just does it. I love it. It's so good.
But Jeremy Adams is actually good. He saved Wally West from Heroes and Crisis.
He deserves it.
Like, come on. You give the man his flowers.
Also, what's his name? Tom Taylor is exclusive to DC.
Oh, Tom Taylor's been exclusive for the past decade.
Superman Unlimited first trade. I read the first 3 issues of this. I did like this. I don't think I need to trade because I have the single issues, but it's not bad. I enjoy it a little bit. What else is here? I think James Tynian's Batman Volume 2 for his omnibus run is coming out this week. I think it's this week. I think
it was next week, but
is it next week? You might be right. Yeah, it might be the week after. Yeah, you're right. It probably is. Excalibur. Oh, the Joker, the Bronze Age omnibus is coming out. Let me see. Oh, you know another guy was in that personal DM group that was shitting on Scott Snyder? James Tynian the fourth, a guy who literally was on with Scott Snyder on a Justice League run.
Who owes his career to Scott Snyder, mind you.
Just goes to show you can't trust everyone. I'm just pointing out, you literally can't trust like close people that you've brought up with you. But yeah, Batman by James Tynian.
Yeah, Fear State. Wait, was this Fear State Volume 2?
No, this is the conclusion of like the Joker War and stuff like that, I think.
Okay.
Oh, it is Fear State 2. You're right about that. So it's Joker War, Fear State. So yeah, Batman by James Tynian. I'll get this. I have the first one right there. I'll get this, but it's like, goddamn, fucking, I hate fake people, man. It just, Excalibur. That's what I call my penis. Oh, my orange. Stop. Good Lord, we have guests here tonight. You can't be a degenerate. All right, before we go, I know it's late for Jared. He has to get his nap because he's a little old now. He just turned 30. Good Lord, Jared. Why did you just turn 30?
Happy late birthday, man. Sorry I couldn't make the stream last week.
All right, so good. Just so you people know who these backstabbing, worthless, disgusting pieces of shit are, and keep in mind when I point this out, I'm not talking about their work. You can buy their work. You can enjoy it. I'm saying don't trust these people with any private information. Don't tell them anything about your personal life if you're in the industry. If you watch this show, I don't give a fuck. Let's just out these. Well, it's public anyway who these people are, so I'm not outing anybody. Matthew Rosenberg, Chip Zdarsky, Jerry Duggan, C. Spurrier, Frank Barbary, Denise Camp. Denise Camp, you wouldn't have to tell. That guy's a fucking liberal retard. I would have. That's an easy one in my opinion. Patrick Kindlon, James Tynian the fourth, and Kelly Thompson. Kelly Thompson, who's currently with Scott Snyder on his Absolute Batman universe, talking mass shit about him. Fuck this piece of shit.
Now, Cy Spurrier, I can see coming because their Flash run was atrocious. Their Flash run was atrocious. Like I could see him being petty.
Oh, Denise Camp. This dude tried canceling someone for something that they didn't even do. Like, he tried canceling a guy over, like, a trans fucking joke in a Valiant book. As if any of you guys care about what happens in a Valiant book these days. Like, none of you do. Fucking weirdos. Chip Zdarsky, I don't know why he would be in this group. He's going to apparently be, like, the lead creative of Marvel Comics, apparently. Why
his Batman run was... Now, I appreciate Tim Drake getting some shine. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. But his Batman run was mid.
Yeah. Isn't he just living off the goodwill of his Daredevil run, actually?
Pretty much.
She, they? Is it a she, they? No. Oh, my God. Thank God. If I encounter one of these people again. Woo! But, all right. So we're going to wrap it up here. It's great having Jheat on, as a guest for the first time. Maybe he comes on again next week. Maybe I give him an exclusive contract. Maybe I do that for a black man. Who knows, actually. But we'll start with Jheat. Do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yes, as for me, I do gaming playthroughs, World Tour, Mass Effect. I do just about anything and everything that comes to mind. Also, I do like comic reviews, gaming reviews, TV shows, manga. I'm even starting a Wasted Potential series where I cover like plot lines,
You
storylines.
covering my wife or my sex life? What the fuck?
Wasted Potential. Wait, what?
All the jokes. You it's a slam dunk right there.
And I just cover. I'm glad to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, anytime, man. Oh, speaking of running ideas into the ground, King in Black. No, guys, not me. I'm not the King in Black. That's an actual thing that happened in Marvel Comics. You know what's crazy? Marvel went and got the craziest sequel to that. Every great movie has a shitty. The Queen in Black.
They really ran out of ideas with that one.
And that was such an easy fix. The Queen in White.
There you go.
We know there's Shaniquas. There ain't no Queen in Black. We ain't touching that. Fuck. It's so Marvel just makes these jokes for me. It's like, yeah, Johnny Cates is no, okay. The Queen in fucking hell. They just don't stop. Planet. He's right. This is what they did. Planet She-Hulk. See, I wonder what that reminds you of.
It's enjoyable. I enjoy. I have that on my pull list. It's fun.
No, sorry. Just the idea of like, I wonder where that came from. Really have to think hard about this one.
I wonder what that's obviously homaging.
Just another one. There's a series, the Immortal Hulk, which is written by Al Ewing.
Yeah.
There was a Thor series called The Immortal Thor. Yeah, I wonder where that came from. And then now there's a series just called Mortal Thor. These people are so creatively bankrupt. It's so funny.
Oh, wait. There was also, so in all these other Planet She-Hulk, also an arc called World War She-Hulk.
Holy shit.
The fuck did you say to me?
Yeah, there's a World War She-Hulk.
You what? You what?
The jokes write themselves.
It's over 9,000.
Where she became the Winter She-Hulk.
Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Oh, you know what's crazy, guys? DC, this book was so bad, they didn't even bother printing it. It was a book just focusing on Nightwing's ass. I'm not kidding. It was just a one shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know how logically sound these companies are? We're not going to print a book just about Nightwing's ass, but we'll print a comic book about Harley Quinn farting. Because that logically makes more sense, right?
Fatality.
Oh, God. MSK is black to wearing his wife beaters. What in God's name possessed someone to tell DC editorial staff, hey, dude, I got a great idea for a comic book that's going to sell very well, dude. How about we just do a book? No dialogue. Just based off Nightwing's butt.
Get out.
Just get out. I don't need to hear anything more. Just get out. Just get the fuck out. Because he can't do this in DC. They'll fire you. I'll be like, gay. But Jared, you got anything planned? Do you have anything planned coming up that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, so tomorrow we're talking about the original Red Sonja movie. Oh, that's gonna be fun. And then on tomorrow night about 9:30 p.m. Britt and I are going live to discuss Calvin, Ellis, Valzad, and Nubia. And then for my Sunday stream, I'm going to be talking about about the many different costumes and looks for Wonder Woman.
Are you gooning to that, Jared? Why did I even ask? Jay, are you currently reading Matt Fraction's Batman run?
I was. And it's decent enough.
No. It's not about that. I want to ask. Next week we're gonna do a comic book review of issue 3. If you want to.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Because we had to stop it this week to have you on. It's a black man's always stopping what the white guy has to do. God damn it. Good Lord. Why did Mac? I still have them. What the heck? I want what people don't understand, I love comic books. I love reading them. I love reviewing them. I love talking about them. Just, if you don't want to spend so much money on them, here, this is easy. DC Compact Comics, they're $10. With tax, it's like $12. Pick any of them. It doesn't matter.
You get full story arcs.
It's $10. You don't like it? You know what? Doesn't matter.
No loss.
If you are sweating over $12, I could understand why you're a broke loser. Probably go and get a job.
Thank you. Come again.
Good Lord. Like, it's $10, you know? Michael. Good Lord. Hold on. Fucking, I'm choking on dick.
Hey, yo.
Oh, fuck. Something went down my throat. I don't know what happened. But Michael just read Court of Owls for the first time. Said he loved it. You know how much that cost him? $12.
Yep.
Well, no, I think I sent it to him. Doesn't matter. It cost me $12 to send it to him.
The only thing I'll say about Eric July is that at least he's actually doing something about it. Because he was because prior to the Rippaverse, he was just critiquing what was going on in the mainstream. But he did his own thing. He got his own audience. And you at least got to commend him for that.
Yeah, if you don't like it, fine. But it's like, at the very least,
he's doing something.
Creating his own stuff, yeah.
I bought Court of Owls. You sent me Hush. Well, it cost me something to send that to you. You know, what's crazy? There's people that had to wait months for that book to eventually finish. Now we could just buy it in a trade.
Do you know they made a Hush too?
Yeah.
That still hasn't completed, even though, by the way, MSK, the final issue was supposed to come out in August.
Oh, I know, yeah.
How did that happen?
Okay, Jim Lee, for some reason, decided to get Ethan Van Sciver levels of laziness when it comes to finishing his books. Now, to be fair, I like Jim more because he's Jim Lee. One is also a fat, worthless, disgusting piece of shit. So, you know, the differences make themselves, right? One is successful, one is ugly and disgusting, and probably, you know, and not probably, he actually licks urinals. So, you know, once you get to a point in your life where you lick urinals, it's kind of over for you, you know?
Wasn't EVS the artist of Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run?
Yeah, the first trade of it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And Jeff Johns has standards. He doesn't talk to that guy anymore. Good Lord. All right. Also, before we head out, yes. So, you know what's crazy, guys? DC is eventually going to publish Batman issue 163, which concludes the Batman ongoing series that started with Tom King and went through James Tynion and Chip Zdarsky and then Jeff Loeb, right? As the new Matt Fraction ongoing series is coming out.
It's still coming out.
The original idea was to have like, okay, this is the end of this run. This is the brand new start with Matt Fraction. Awesome.
But then Hush 2 ended up being delayed, and then they had to return to the original numbering.
All right. I guess. That's going to be so weird. Hey, guys, why is Batman issue 163 coming out the same week as Batman issue 9? Apparently, the first Matt Fraction Batman trade is going to come out the same week that
Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Oh, God. This is not a new panel. It might be. Who knows?
Now, speaking of Matt Fraction's run, I actually wanted your opinion on this, MSK.
I read the first 2 issues so far. Just one.
Oh, you're only at the first 2 issues. Okay.
Next week we'll be on issue 3.
Okay. I'll save it then.
No, but issue 1, it was all right. Keep in mind, as I tell everyone this, Batman and Superman and Wolverine and Thor and like Iron Man, these kind of, I hold them to a different pedestal. I mean, like everyone holds Batman and Superman to a very high standard.
Of course.
Same thing with James Gunn's Superman movie. You know, like I wanted to love it, but I ended up just like thinking it was just okay. So like same with James Gunn's Superman movie. Same thing with Matt Fraction's Batman issue 1. I wanted to really love it, but I found it was just okay. Issue 2 I thought was better, but it was just all right so far. Hopefully it gets better. I know there's going to be a big like No Man's Land event coming up, so we'll just cover that next week too. So Mac hates what? Oh, he's fat and ugly. A lot of people are fat and ugly, you know. But yes, guys. Thank you for coming by and checking out this episode of the MSK Show.